Welcome, y'all. It is great to see y'all. We're going to be doing some wonderful panels. This is going to be our Meet the Creator section. We'll be talking to some of the folks from Black Ops 6, all right? I'm just going to get into it because you don't want to hear me talk. I got this. So coming to the stage right now from Treyarch, the Associate Design Director on Zombies, Kevin Drew. Come on to the stage. Welcome him with me. Welcome, baby. Ooh, y'all feel good after them doggone trailers and a deep dive? I love it. Please have a seat. First and foremost, man, I want to thank y'all for being here. It's nothing like that day where you get to show everybody where you're working on the thing. I'm going to just get right into the questions because I got a lot of them and not a lot of time to do it. Now, both of these games, both in Gears of War E-Day and in Black Ops 6, we are dealing with very specific time periods and new chapters in games that have been around for a while. There's a lot of history, a lot of legacy, a lot of love and community participation, all the great stuff. How do you balance bringing in a lot of that old, a lot of that history, a lot of the stuff that people love with the new chapters in the thing? All things considered, they just did the direct. I'm gonna kick off.
Oh yeah, right? Go for it. You're gonna start with me?
Yeah, this one's for you, my friend. How do you balance the old and the new? Come on, going from Black Ops 2 to 6? Tell me what was going through the head.
I think there's different answers for each part of the game, right? We have campaign, we have multiplayer, and we have zombies. And I can speak for zombies when I say it's a mode that actually started as an Easter egg back in World of War, right? And it has grown over the years. And initially, it was kind of like the Wild West. So like every time we would make a new zombies game, we would just try new things that we thought was cool, right? But over the years, by Black Ops 3, certain things we realized are very important, and we kind of established the DNA of zombies. It's a lot of different like perks and pack-a-punch and really cool maps and hidden quests and all sorts of things. And we realized those certain things are very kind of sacred, and we need to like keep those and iterate on them and make them better, but then always pushing ourselves to do new things, because that's like at the heart of this mode. It's almost like counterculture to COD, where it's like we get to put things in that you would never see in or think that would be in Call of Duty.
Stuff you're just not expecting. Yeah, absolutely. Leaning in a lot of that brotherhood theme, and actually you can kind of look at some of that coming through in COD as well. Speaking thereof, like we got a really good look at how you guys are actively developing the game. How is your tech that you're using impacted a lot of that, especially in like player movement and the different things that people are able to do mid-combat? Please do the thing.
I think that's the highlight, the Omni movement. You all saw it today. It's like revolutionary in how you play the game. It just fundamentally changes how you move, and it kind of removes this artificial construct of like, you know, in real life, you can sprint backwards. You can sprint to the side. Like professional athletes do this all the time. So once we kind of ungated that or realized we could do that and we made this massive endeavor, it's changed everything, right? Like how you play multiplayer is different. How you play zombies is going to be different. Like the ability to, you know, sprint backwards while you've got a horde of zombies coming at you is very different than MP, where you're taking advantage of other things like supine and all those things. So
look, for us less skilled people, being able to run away from
I think you still got to watch behind you.
We're thinking about that. I appreciate it. Both of these games have very committed audience. I know that's the understatement of the year. But how do you take those audiences into consideration? For a lot of folks, like they've been looking for these installments for a minute. I know people have been checking for Gears for a minute, and people have been looking for the new COD for a minute. How do you deal with a lot of that fan expectancy, that hey, you know what your people are kind of hoping for? How do we address that, especially when coming into a new chapter?
It's about trying to deliver something new and also what you know drew people to the franchise at the same time. I think it's very similar for a lot of the stuff I saw in the Blaps Direct, you know.
When you were saying earlier about the pandemic, right? There was challenges with that. In the last game we made, we had to make concessions, and you know, there were certain things that we wanted to bring to zombies that we couldn't. And now this has been the opportunity here to fully realize and make what we think will be the best version of it. And one of the big things is bringing back a set crew. Like this idea that who you play as in the story matters a lot, and you're growing with them as you progress through the cinematics and just the moment-to-moment gameplay, which you have these emergent moments, and when you have the characters actually have personality and interact with each other, that's huge, right? For both of them.
Yeah, that's an interesting connection between like Zombies and Gears, is that you're inhabiting characters and also playing with your friends and going on these like shared journeys and stories that sort of involve you and the people in the game. It's pretty cool.
It's like when you see how they react, like you might bond closer to this character more than that character based on their reactions, which is really cool.
I'm not gonna lie, when Marcus looked like he was gonna fall over, I'm like, no, not my boy. And then it came down to brotherhood. Yeah, that's
you didn't really think he was gonna fall in that hole, did you?
I'm not. I was on pins and needles, okay? Just let me have this, all right? Let me have this. All right. Look, one of the things that I love, especially as a developer, is being able to watch out for some of those personal touches in the game. And I think, for me, that's a very humanizing element. It's always nice to remember that the people making these things are often fans. A lot of them are like, I'm excited for this game, too. I'm curious if there are any, like, personal touches that y'all got for me personally. What are some of the things that your folks did, their signatures that they put on the game? If you can share. I know it's some personal touches in Black Ops. And we also got like a look at some of them in the deep dive. I want to know specifically in Zombies, are there some personal touches that y'all put in that you're like, this is for the fans?
Yeah, so I mean, I've worked on every Black Ops game, so I have a lot of very specific examples over the year. Like, if you're working on the game, you're putting a part of you in it. Right. And so like early days when you're working, like when I was working on campaign levels, I ended up like on Black Ops 2, I named a red shirt in one of the levels I was working on, Crosby, because of a previous game on Black Ops 1. He was like this one-line character, but he was just hilarious to all of us. So I started to name him there, and then I moved to another campaign level and another one, and soon enough there was like 8 levels with Crosby in it, and he had a full character arc.
That means Crosby is the Carmine of Black Ops.
Black Ops.
And he has his own wiki page. But nice. When he got to Zombies, it was sometimes our personal touches are accidental. When we were working on Black Ops 2, we were like a new team working on it, and we hadn't quite caught up with all of the rules yet, and so when we were determining the eye color for Mob of the Dead, a producer got asked like what color to make them, and he's just like, I don't know, red. And then with Q2, like we released the trailer, and the community is like, what is this third faction? What do the red eyes mean? And we're like, oh, okay. That was like the way
intentional.
Yes, yeah, totally. It worked out. But I think in recent years, not I've been directing the gameplay and the design systems, it's really about, I want to bring Zombies to more people. And so approachability has been a key part for me to put in the game. So just really like raising the floor. A lot of people, it's a very challenging mode. And so when people try for the first time, they might survive for 2 minutes. And it's like, once you get in there and you experience like the higher rounds, it's so much fun. So we want to just make sure that more people can do that.
One day I'm gonna get to those higher rounds.
You're gonna do it.
This is the year. This is my time.
This game, we got all sorts of stuff for you that's gonna help you with that.
I actually want to go back a little bit and dig into those specific time periods in both of those franchises, because for me that was the standout thing in the trailers, that both of them made a big point to point out this is where this is happening, and this is the story that we want to tell around this. In Black Ops, like picking the 1991, just after the Cold War, right. Those shots of seeing Bush and Clinton talk, ripped directly from my memories. I'm dating myself a little bit, but picking a very specific time, what was going through the heads when we picked that moment to set Black Ops 6 in? Yeah. Well, you know what? Maybe you can't speak to that from the zombie side, but if you can, give me that.
I could give a light touch.
Give me a light touch.
That's part of our DNA, right? Like the Black Ops series goes into very historical, memorable beats and kind of gives you this version that could have existed where there's a deeper story there. There's a lot of espionage and betrayal and shadowy ops. And in this version, right, like this idea of you becoming an enemy of the state, like the actual government is betraying you because they're doing some bad things and you want to fix it. So it's also just, just a very nostalgic era, right? I think a lot of us, at least elder millennials, we're children during this time period. And it's like revisiting those things with a mature perspective is going to be, I think, a lot of fun. But on the zombie side, we left you like on a huge cliffhanger. So basically, Cold War was building up a lot of beats. We at the end, like we kind of just did a huge 180. The director ended up being Edward Verruckt, who is a long-stay zombies character. He betrays your entire squad. He sends them off of prison for 5 years, and we're here now in the early 90s picking up the pieces. So the crew have been in prison for 5 years. They've been just, Sarah Connoring, basically just doing a lot of push-ups and just ready for revenge.
Ready to roll. All right, look, the voices in my head are telling me that we don't have a whole bunch more time. Okay. I want to know, what you got final thoughts to leave the people with before they get a chance to do their own research and digging? Give me something. Come on. What you got? What we leaving the people with?
I think the same thing, where it's like I've been waiting like literally years to just say round-based zombies is going to be a Black Ops 6.
Yes.
And I think we've set out to make the best version of it. So I think the entire team's very passionate about the mode, and we're bringing things back from the past, like Gobblegums, and among other things. And I think we're going to really make something special here, and we hope everyone enjoys it.
Outstanding. I want to thank all of y'all for being here. Can we give our panelists one more round of applause, please? All right. Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Get out of here.
Thank you, Ron.